All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We have UFC 290 Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. This is an exciting card. There's a lot of really great fights on this one. Lots to break down. It's like we said last week. If you watched the video, man, this card is it's stacked. It's loaded. We did unfortunately lose the Jack Della Maddalena fight. As a short notice opponent has a brain disease, so he's now out. JDM is looking for a replacement, but it'd be 0 days notice, so I wouldn't count on it. Kevin Holland came out and said that he'd fight him on 0 days notice, but that'd be kind of fucked up.
But that's Kevin Holland for you.
That is Kevin Holland. So, Joey, unless you got anything, we'll jump right into it.
No.
All righty, first fight we have Kamela Kirk and Esteban Ribovics. And you and I talked about this a bit. This could be a crazy fight. It could be a boring fight. It's really hard to say. Ribovics comes out with a lot of pressure. He's got really good forward striking. He has good offensive grappling. Kirk's striking is decent. He's pretty technical. He also has good offensive grappling. Neither one of these guys has really good defensive grappling. So this could be a really interesting fight. I am on the side of the favorite in Ribovics. I think his pressure might overwhelm Kirk too early. But at the same time, Ribovics could also gas out after round one and a half. So I think this might be a fight to target, especially if you're on the Kirk side of things because he is the dog. But I'm gonna side with the favorite on this one.
So I remember his first fight in the UFC when he fought Loki or whatever the hell the guy's last name is. Heroic. That loss doesn't look bad. He got dominated against Rebecca, but I was almost on Kirk. I was like, okay, Kirk does have maybe the better wrestling a little bit. But I went back to watch Ribovic. That's the first time I've seen him taken down that many times in a fight. But here's the thing, he'll get back up. He gets back up, gets back up. I don't think Kirk has the wrestling that his last opponent has. And honestly, I was watching some of Kirk's fights. When he gets gun shy and they have forward pressure coming towards him, he shells up a little bit. He tries to play too defensive. He doesn't move his head too much. I do like Ribovic a lot. I think this is a reboundable fight for him. I'm probably going to do Ribovic or pass. Because, like I said, Kirk is low volume.
Mm-hmm.
And he really hasn't used his wrestling inside the UFC quite yet. So who knows? Either I think it's Ribovic that maybe swarms him early, maybe gets a first round finish. It's very doable.
Absolutely.
Or I think it could be a competitive fight throughout the first 1.5, 2.5 rounds, and it could be a 70-point decision, 80-point decision at that. But yeah, I'm gonna be on Ribovic though.
All right, so both of us going with Esteban Ribovics right off the bat. Next up, we have Shannon Ross and Jesus Aguilar, and I will let you go with this one.
Two different class of styles. It is mainly a striker versus grappler. Ross, he does have the superior striking, even though he doesn't have the best looking record. But ideally, in this matchup, one of two things will happen. Either Ross will guard the takedowns and he's going to outpoint Aguilar for 3-round decision. And at his price tag, it should be probably like an 80-point decision in it, unless he gets a finish, which is maybe doable. Aguilar, if he gets the takedowns, he is very aggressive on submissions. And Ross, usually when he loses early. I'm slightly on Aguilar. I think this could be a get right spot for him. He fought Tyra on short notice. He had a little bit of success when he tried to go over a takedown, but he left his neck, got his neck caught. It happens. But this, like I said, style of fights, I don't really have I think one of these two are sneaky for GPP. Because if whoever's game plan does go through, I think they absolutely dominate this fight. It could, like I said, it could be Ross with his outside point decisions. Could he get a finish? Who knows? Who knows what Aguilar striking defense really looks like? But if Aguilar gets his going, it's probably going to either be a round one sub or even that 8,600. I think how everyone's going to pay up for the higher value. I think that mid 8K range you can maybe get leverage and find some lower ownership on the guys that do potentially help you win tournaments. I'm not saying Aguilar's that, but I'm gonna say Aguilar's my pick, and He's not, like I said, when it comes to leverage, he's not a bad leverage play 86, especially if he does get grappling early and successful.
I like it. Aguilar on Tapology is getting 90% of the votes. I am in the
Really?
10% on Ross. And it's exactly like you said. This is a striker versus grappler, and I like the striker in this one. If Aguilar cannot get that takedown, he's going to get destroyed. And if you look at Shannon Ross's record, his last three losses are Clayton Rodriguez, Vinicius Salvador, and Steve Urseg. They're all in the UFC, and they've all done relatively well. Urseg just made his debut and destroyed Dvorak.
Oh, there you go. That's what I was thinking.
So, I mean, he's already fought and fought well. Well, except for his last fight, that he got destroyed in that one by Clayton. But he has been knocked out in both fights, but you don't have to worry about him being knocked out against Aguilar because Aguilar doesn't really have striking. He's all grappling and he loves the guillotine. His problem is if Shan Ross isn't going to shoot for takedowns, so there's almost no chance for him to lock up a guillotine. It's just not going to happen. If Ross keeps it on the feet like I think he does, he outpoints him and he can knock him out. Shannon Ross has power, so I'm on the dog. Like I said, I'm in that 10%. I love him. I actually think that he should be much more owned than he is. So I'm good with it. I'm going with the dog. So we are split on that one. Next up, we have Cameron Saman and Terrence Mitchell. And I'm slightly torn on this. I have Saman because he's actually looked really good in so far in the UFC. All three of his wins have been rightfully they've all been good. His last fight against Mana Martinez was really impressive.
Yes.
Terrence Mitchell, not a whole lot to know about him. He's a finisher, not really much different than Saman. A lot of his finishes happen in the first round, but it's who knows what his cardio is after that. So I'd say that Mitchell is absolutely live in the first round. Saman has shown that he's got a pretty good chin. But you never know. This is MMA, it's UFC, and you don't know. So I'd say Mitchell is live in the first round, but after that, Saman should completely annihilate him.
So Saman as a prospect, I do like as a prospect from that South Africa realm. Him and his teammate on the same card. My boy Drake will talk about that one in a little bit. But I think he's a good prospect. It's just some things he needs to clean up. Stop. Keep doing illegal shit. You lose your points. You would dominate the fight even better. But only thing I don't like about him when it comes to brawls, he doesn't always tend to welcome him, but when he does, he leaves his chin up and just starts trying to say, screw the overall bullshit. I'm going straight wide. I'm like, yeah, and that's why you got touched up by Mana a few times. You fell. And I think Mitchell, I thought Mitchell was going to have more of a size. They're not too far. I know Mitchell's like 5'11". And I remember him on Ultimate Fighter because anybody that watches, he was the one cocky guy that was trying to outsize Cara France. And if anyone doesn't want to know, screw the overall stuff, but he got knocked out within 30 seconds from Cara France. But that was when he was at 25. I don't know how he made 25. He's a big boy, but I know I'm going on. I'm gonna go dog. I'm gonna go Terrence Mitchell. I think.
Wow.
Look, the only thing is, like, think about this. You've seen some of these younger prospects that almost the same frame. Like, yeah, they fought guys that I don't think are UFC caliber per se, but like Simon, the first fight, the guy was decent, but his striking was terrible. That's why I don't think he's in the UFC no more. Mana Martinez, I don't even think he's in the UFC no more. I'm not too sure about that one, but neither of them really have the experience. The only thing I give Terrence Mitchell experience with, he actually went through. He was actually a title holder. He was actually introduced in that 125-pound Ultimate Fighter where all champions came in. So that's good experience alone to Ultimate Fighter, at least then. So you had like Cejudo and Benavides coaches, so that's always good experience. But I want to see what Simon does when someone's going to come at him. Who really came at him in both fights? Manning was playing counter. The other dude couldn't throw a punch. I think Terrence Mitchell. I keep saying Marshall. Terrence Mitchell. I think he's going to come right at him. He might get aggressive early. Like I said, Simon at times when he gets into unnecessary brawls, he leaves his guard down, and you've seen that little pretty boy's nose bleed. So I'm taking a flyer on Marshall. not Marshall, Mitchell. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Terrence Marshall is a football player.
What? Yeah. Is he still a football player?
Yeah, he's a wide receiver for the
Panther.
Panthers.
Okay.
I don't hate it, but I would not pick him outright. But you could say the same thing about Ross. So very interesting. Hmm. Going against your no Alaska fighters
I'm not a big fan of him.
because there's not many fighters up there. That's
No.
why Rose Medic was started out strong and kind of tailed off. Anyways, we are split on that one as well. I'm going with Samon and you got Mitchell.
Yep.
Next up, I am not a fan of this fight, actually. It's Vitor Petrino and Marcin Prachnio. And I'm going to assume that you're on the favorite, but let's hear what you got.
Like I said, it's pretty much the styles are almost are similar-ish, but I think Petrino is more well-rounded. He showed it his first fight. I didn't think he could wrestle for shit, but hey, he got what, like 6, 7 takedowns, but he also got taken down 5 times. I'm not expecting Prachnio to go for takedowns. He's gonna try to act like the tall karate striker and try to counter strike you. I am on the favorite, but here's the thing about DFS: if you think he gets a finish, which Prachnio can get finished, he got finished early, but before. If you're telling me at 9K you're gonna play him, you're expecting probably within a round and a half finish to him to potentially pay off 9. If you think he's just gonna win and go to decision, there's no point playing it. I don't think you play this fight. But straight pick, I'll say Petrino. DFS, if you think he gets a finish within the 1.5 line, I think he should be all right to score well. But I'm not playing it, but we'll see how lines. But I do like him to win as a whole.
I am not on Prochnio whatsoever. I am all over Petrino, and I
I
hope
think
it does
Petrino.
go to a decision. I know you did.
Okay, I thought. Okay.
You're not as strong about it as I am. Prochnio was taken down 4 times by Linz. So here's how I see this going. Petrino learns that he is actually a relatively decent wrestler from his first fight, comes in and continually just changes takedowns because he can lay on top of Prochnio because his back work is terrible. Or 2, he decides to try to strike with him and takes the chance to get knocked out. We've seen a lot of stupid fucking game plans and fighters not doing what they should be doing, fighting to their strengths. So if this is one of those fights, I hope he gets knocked the fuck out because he's retarded. I shouldn't say that because he's stupid. It's one of those things. I just don't. Some fighters, when they do that crap, but they don't fight to their strengths, it drives me nuts. I would hope that Petrino comes out and fights the way that he should, but you never know. I am on the favorite, so both of us are going with Petrino in that one. If he does come out and shoot takedowns again, it could be another massive score because he scored 116 in his debut fight against Turkalai.
With getting taken down 5 times.
Yeah, no kidding. All righty, next up we have. Where's this fight go?
Flyweight action.
They moved it. Okay, all right. So, Edgar Cherez, I don't know how to say it, and Tatsuro Taira. I don't have a whole lot to say about this fight. Taira is going to win in the first round.
I was hoping that this Rodriguez fight would have stayed because I already knew where me and you were going with that one. The only thing I'll say about Edgar, he's not a bum, but I think he is
He's a bum.
No, he's not a bum. I think he's someone that can stay around in the UFC because he does have a competitive style. But I was hoping they would give me somebody I can at least put a little sprinkle against Tyra because I think what's going to happen is I think Edgar is going to come in aggressive because he did also take this fight on short notice. He's going to try to get overwhelmed. I think Tyra is going to get a stupid, sloppy takedown because I think his takedowns are overrated, but they're sloppy as shit. And he's going to end up getting the back and probably getting a sub within somewhere in round 1.
Yep, I completely agree. And I don't think that there is any chance that Tyra loses this fight.
No. No, 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 no.
All right. So next up, we have Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Menafield. This is the rematch to their stupid draw. That first fight was absolutely amazing. I loved the crap out of it. Which side are you going with?
So I watched the fight actually twice today because I really wanted to see who I thought was going to win. The first time I watched it, it was close. I gave it to actually Menafield. That was before the point got taken away. I was looking at, he did have the damage. He did rock him. Then I watched it the second time. I thought Crute won. Even though he was getting touched up on the feet, I thought Crute won. So I'm like, okay, do I go with the older guy that mainly has, good power in the hands and decent takedown defense? Or do I go with a younger guy? I think that's still going into his prime, better submissions, improved striking. I'm slightly going Crute. I think it's mainly because the takedown ability will be there. I think it's almost going to be almost a similar kind of repeat of their first fight. Maybe Crute doesn't get rocked a handful of times, but I'm going Crute. I think, like I said, for a DFS, I think you're going to have to pick one side or the other because there's a chance that if Alonso just goes in there and just throws bombs, he can get him out early. Who knows? Maybe this time Crute needs one takedown, grab the back, fight over. I just think whoever gets their game plan going is going to win this fight, and I'm slightly on the younger Crute.
I'm on Crute as well, but I have a slightly different reason. So
Okay.
going into a rematch, what's the one thing that you do? You watch over your tape and you try to figure out what you can do better, right? For me, I would say that it's easier for Crute to avoid getting knocked down again than
Mm-hmm.
it is for Menafield to avoid being taken down again. Um, you can practice. Metafield can practice takedowns all he wants, or takedown defense, but it's not the same as doing it in a cage, and it's not the same as doing it with almost a world class grappler. Um, Crute just needs to avoid getting hit, and I would assume that he learned that, and if he hasn't, well, then he kind of deserves to get knocked out. But I'm on Crute. I love Crute in this one. He had 6 takedowns and 8 minutes of control time in that first fight. I think he does it again without getting knocked down, and I think he wins outright. So love me some Crute.
Jimmy.
Next up, we have Yasmin. I still don't know how to say her name.
Jerguiway?
Yaugui. We're just gonna say Yasmin
Yep.
and Denise Gomes. Um, I'm on the favorite. I like the favorite a lot. I actually think that she is better than Gomes everywhere this fight goes, and I don't think that it's close. The only way that Yasmin loses this fight is if she makes a mistake, and I could easily see this being another knockout in the first or second round.
Yasmin, how you doing? But look, you pretty much said my whole entire breakdown. I'm also on Yasmin. Usually, I'm like, okay, I think what's the one thing I'll say I do give Gomes? Slightly more power. And then I think her overall take leading into takedowns is yeah. But everything else, I think Yasmin is time two's better. Has the volume for her frame. I don't think she has a crazy frame, but that girl finds a way to crack somebody. Um, I think the line's slightly off because like there's still two younger females, but yeah, I'm gonna be on Yasmin. I think she can out volume her and then maybe get a late finish and get them additional finish points. But I do give to Gomes. She is a tough little firecracker, but I think Yasmin's better everywhere.
Definitely, definitely. So both of us going with Yasmin on that one. Next up would have been the JDM fight. Unfortunately, that is off.
Unfortunately.
And next
Before we
up, we have
go, Joshua Harold, get well.
the retirement fight for Robbie Lawler and Nico Price. And I'm really curious what you have to say about this one.
I legit said, do I go with my head or do I go with my heart? My head is saying Nico, but my heart saying I can't go against Robbie. Because I think about it this way. Yes, is Nico slightly more athletic? Yes. Can he move better? Yeah. But I think Robbie is still the better version of what Nico is. And he showed that early against Barberina. He was throwing heat at Barberina. Honestly, I think this could be potentially fight of the night. I gotta go with the retired dog. I gotta go, my man Robbie Lawler, man.
You are out of your fucking
I
mind.
gotta go. Look, one last
Okay,
time.
no, you're done. You're done. We don't. You're done. Nico Price knockout round
Robbie,
one.
round one.
Nico Price knockout round one. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. Goodbye. Good night.
Round one. You're not giving
Really?
my man. You're not giving Lawler one last ride.
No, I can't stand him.
Why? He's like the nicest dude.
I don't know. It just bothers me. I think it's because of that stupid fucking Nick Diaz fight.
No, Diaz gave up on him.
It was
That's
just no, it was just a stupid fight. It shouldn't have happened.
you can't blame him.
Yeah, I can.
I'm sorry, Robbie.
Yeah, no, I like Nico Price in this one. I think it's I really kind of wonder how they said here Nico Price take his retirement fight, but Price is faster. He's got more power. He can mix in wrestling if he wants to, but he won't. This will be a striking match. And Lawler just likes to eat a bunch of shots now. He took 140 strikes from Barberena. You can't take 140 strikes from Nico Price. Just you can't. You can take half that maybe. Either way, I think that Lawler gets knocked out in his retirement, gets spoiled. So
No, don't do that to Robbie like that.
sorry, buddy.
No, you're not. You're
So
not.
there's another one we are split on. You're going with Lawler, and I am going with Price.
Like I
Next
said,
up,
before we go next fight, I
yeah.
said head was Price, heart is Robbie. So either way, I get half a point, whoever wins.
Doesn't work. Your official pick was Robbie Lawler.
Asshole.
All right, next up, main card, we have the getting really annoying Bo Nickel against Val Woodburn. Bo Nickel is currently a minus 2,500 favorite.
Ew.
If you know anything about betting,
Don't do it.
just put $10 on Woodburn. Because if he wins, you just won $100. He's the biggest favorite in UFC history, Nickel is. Nickel should win. There's no doubt about it. All he has to do is wrestle, take him down, and it's over.
Oh yeah.
That said, if Woodburn can somehow stuff those takedowns, he could knock him out. It's possible. I'd like to see it happen because I think the majority of us want to see that hype train derailed.
Yep.
But I'm going with Nickel because I don't see it happening.
The only thing I'll say, and this is the only chance that Woodburn has to win, and Woodburn does have, he's undersized. I thought maybe, I didn't think Bo Nickel was that big until I saw how the size difference was between the two.
Well, that's because Woodburn's he's
like
a William Knight type guy.
Yeah, he's like a 5'8", 5'9", 85er that could probably make 70. But
hopefully he doesn't fight like William Knight because that fight still pisses me off.
I already know which fight. Yep. But I only think if I'm him, this whole time, as soon as you took this fight, jumping knees and uppercuts, baby. But is it going to happen? Probably not. He better hope to God he either lands that Jorge Masvidal one shot. That's the only way that he's going to win this fight, or Bo Nickel's going to get one takedown, get him flat, submission round one, and we may not even hear from this. Oh, I was going to say this, but Woodburn originally did have another matchup set up on the Contender Series, and this is how he took fight short notice. So he pretty much is already getting his foot into this, probably getting another fight after this fight. But yeah, it's Bo Nickel. It's Bo Nickel. And originally, I wasn't even going to touch this fight because originally I was going to be playing Jack. But with Jack going down and other questionable pay-ups, I don't think you need to. I think you can easily get to Bo Nickel. I think there's a legit chance that Bo Nickel gets one takedown and a sub within under a minute.
Well, let's say he doesn't. Let's say Woodburn manages to make it out of round one. You better hope that
You better hope to God Nickel goes for like 12 takedowns.
yes, because
But
otherwise he's not hitting value at
no,
9,800.
he didn't pay off
You
his
know,
last leg.
had this fight been the fight that got announced to begin with, we may have seen our first 10K fighter on the card.
You know who originally was going to take this fight, right? Tried to take this fight?
Yeah, I sent it to the group.
Barello.
Yeah,
I was praying to
told you
God,
I was. I told you, yeah. I said I wanted him because I was going to go against Nickel.
dude, I would have threw so much money on Barello. It wasn't even going to be healthy on my organs. But yeah, it's not going to be this fight. If someone's going to be able to beat Bo, you better have good takedown defense
That's what it's going to
or
be. Is good takedown
or
defense.
be lucky that he leaves a limb out there. But that's about it. Yeah, it's a nickel.
Yeah. All righty. So both of us going with Bo Nickel. Next up, we got Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker. Who you got? Are you still on
This
the
is
same?
another fight that could be potentially fight of the night.
I agree.
Two Hooker. I loved Hooker since he came in. He's had great fights. One of my favorite ones of recent, him and Poirier. That was absolute filthy 5 round fight. Um, Turner, he just lost a split to Gamrot, which was a good fight. He showed that he didn't give up. I think he took that fight on short notice, didn't he? Too, right? He was a replacement,
I think so. I think that's right.
and he did that on short notice. Said, "No, I want to stay active. Screw that. Screw that." Now he's going against Hooker. I'm on Jalen Turner. I know Hooker brought in that Goldilocks blonde hair, that looking like the wannabe Oliveira and all that shit. Um, I think it's gonna. I don't think this fight's gonna end early. I think it's gonna be a good close fight in the beginning. Yeah, I think Turner's gonna end up finding a way to rock him and then maybe get a sub. But if Hooker makes this a good fight, I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna mix in some kicks, try to slow down the length of Turner, and out shoot takedowns. I think you're the better wrestler. I think you can. I even think you're the better grappler. Turner's slightly learning jiu-jitsu. I think you can outclass him if you mix it in. We'll see how serious he is. Now he's pulling out the blonde, and looks like the blonde is working for underdogs lately, like Brenner. But I'm gonna go Turner, and a stat with Turner. Turner is 4-0 versus fighters from Australia and New Zealand.
Hmm.
And I think he's gonna make it 5-0.
I do too, as I also have him. Um, I wish so. He's 8,800 on DraftKings. I really wish that it was a little closer. Mainly because if this turns into a piston match and they're both striking, it could go either way. Um, I would say Hooker is still the better striker. There's no doubt about that. And he could crack him. He could end it early. I mean, it's a Dan Hookerish thing to do. That said, I do really like Jalen Turner. I do think that he's extremely talented. He's got the game to go, on the feet, on the ground, whatever it is. And his target in this should be to get the fight to the mat because Hooker is not as strong there. So it's another one of those fights where if he tries to strike with him, he might get himself caught. It all depends on how they do with their game plan and if they follow it. But I do like Turner. He does score really well and wins, and I can foresee, the same thing in this one. So I am also on Jalen Turner. So next up, we've got Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whitaker, and Dricus Duplessis. Now, I am one of the few people on Dricus Duplessis. I said it last week on the show, and I'm going to stick with it. I absolutely love Dricus Duplessis. I have taken him in every fight, and I have been impressed by him in every fight. He continues to get better, and I hope that surgery that he got helps. For anybody that doesn't know, he had surgery on his nose to basically free up and make him so he could breathe. He had been fighting all these fights with not able to basically breathing at half capacity. It's more than that, but we'll just go with half. So that's why he was kind of gassing out so quickly. And if that is the case, and he can fight like that for 3 rounds, I'm not sure many people will be able to handle his pressure because it's ridiculous. Um, Robert Whitaker, he's a sniper. He's phenomenal. He's an excellent fighter. Um, I just I think that Dreykus is gonna come forward and he's just gonna apply all that pressure that he can. And if he avoids the counter, then I think he gets it. So I'm gonna go really crazy and I'm gonna say Dreykus du Plessis by knockout.
Whoa. Okay. Um, I'll say this. I think a Duplessis win, from my honest opinion, even though I am a big time Whitaker fan, I think a Duplessis win is better for middleweight right now. Honest, in all honesty, none against Bobby Knuckles. I think Bobby Knuckles is good. He's fine. But me personally, do we really want to watch Adesanya Whitaker 4? No, I don't. Me personally, I don't. But I think striking is going to be very close. I would really like to see if Duplessis maybe does try to mix in some clinch against the cage and then try to control Whitaker, try to get him tired, maybe working his own takedowns. Because I think he is the better wrestler in this fight. Uh, like I said, my head is all Whitaker, but my heart's I want to go with the fresh blood who's been winning, doing it. You know what? I want to see fresh blood. Give me Duplessis.
What?
Just notice I just switched that on the spot because everyone knows
I know you did.
I'm a Bobby Knuckles supporter to the fullest, but and this is just how I feel about middleweight. I want Duplessis to win, and if he does it impressively, none against you, Sean Strickland. Yeah, you beat a guy with 1 round cardio. I think you gotta push that one big fight they're gonna do. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do Strickland? Okay, the promo's gonna be good, but I think the promo's gonna be a million times with both Adesanya and Duplessis once they meet heads. Especially both of them been talking crazy shit.
No, I'm pretty sure if Dreykus wins this fight, he gets the title shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because Strickland lost to Cannonier, even though he didn't lose to him.
No.
Yeah, so you go through Duplessis, wins, and he beat Derek Brunson. Okay, Brunson's not really a striker, or at least not anymore.
Not anymore.
All right, so whatever. But then you go down to Darren Till. Darren Till is purely a striker. You go to Brad Tavares. He's purely a striker. And like I already told you, I compare Brad Tavares and Robert Whitaker very closely. They're both snipers on the feet. They fight very kind of upright and defensive. And Dreykus got in his face. And let's say so if you go to Whitaker, who's the last striker that really got in his face? Cannonier? Maybe. No, because he wasn't fighting like that yet. Darren Till? No, not really. Gastelum? No. Izzy? No, because Izzy just strikes from range. Vittori's not really a striker.
Well, that's
So,
first thing you think about is what? Wonder Boy Thompson back at 170 when he fought, maybe, but
maybe. I mean, you got Yo Romero, who is more of a grappler. Souza's a grappler. Brunson. I mean, all these guys know he hasn't fought somebody like Dreykus du Plessis. Not many people have because Dreykus is just kind of nuts. And Dreykus doesn't mind eating a shot. He really doesn't. We've seen him do it in just about every fight. He eats something, gets staggered, gets tired, and then recovers. And it's quite ridiculous, actually. So I'm all over Dreykus du Plessis. I said it last week. I don't know why you changed your pick now. Now it feels like it's, there's no win there.
So one thing I'll say about Drake is you mentioned the whole nose. He pretty much got done what I got done. Pretty much in medical term, a deviated symptom in your nose. Pretty much the surgery does help. I felt a big difference my senior year when I was getting back in athletics. He pretty much had the same nose holes. Then it made it regular, perfect size. Big difference. We'll see how the full camp is when now he has it done now. But like I said, I'm a big Rob. My heart, hey, Robbie wins, I'll be happy. But same time, until I see Duplessis lose, he doesn't give up on fights.
I'm gonna keep taking him.
So I'm going to. I'm gonna keep riding the hot train of Duplessis. I've got to.
All right, both of us going with the quite a bit dog. He's a moderate to heavy dog. So Dreykus du Plessis. Next up, we have a title fight in Brandon Moreno and Alexander Pantoja. And we both, I would assume that you're still in the same pick, but go ahead.
This, like I said, these I know this is on UFC Pantoja, Moreno 2. This is actually the third fight. They're not going to count the overall expedition where Pantoja, he was the hotter prospect on the show, and he pretty much did what he wanted to Moreno. Moreno was still very young. Ended up taking his back, making himself. Boom. They met later on. He did whatever he wanted to Moreno. He pieced him up. He had him down, ground and pound, almost finished him. But no, now they're I think they both grown as prospects. Pantoja had the longer way back up because for a long time, who wanted to fight him? No one wanted to fight him, so he had to wait while Moreno took every fight, worked his way back up, came champ. Finally, glad is him and Figueiredo bullshit is finally done and over with, gone. I'm gonna still lean on my boy. I'm going Pantoja. I've been a Pantoja guy since even when he was on Ultimate Fighter. Um, I think he's the better striker. I think Marino's more bouncier with it though, but Pantoja's more accurate striker. He's been actually getting more finishes lately, so he's looking for the kill. He's not no longer just being patient like he once was in his early career. Takedowns, I think it's gonna be close. I think more. I think more is gonna be like a striking match for 5. But I think if whoever can flow in the mix of takedowns can do it, I think Pantoja could. Maybe not from the first attempt, second attempt. It's gonna be later on when he finally gets his flow, mixes it up. I think Pantoja's gonna win. Decision.
Both of us are on Pantoja. I am taking him as well. I think it's just one of those fights where Pantoja just kind of has his number. Um, Moreno, I mean, we've all seen Moreno fight. He's fought Figueiredo 4 times in those last 5. He's fought Kai Kara France in the other, and he was losing the Kai Kara France fight until that fucking nasty kick.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think Moreno kind of just got used to fighting Figueiredo, and it kind of helped him. He knew his style really well. I don't think he has Pantoja solved. I really don't. Pantoja's really quick, and Moreno's got really good footwork. That's one of the best things about his game. Um, he could probably avoid quite a bit of the strikes, but I don't think he's going to be able to avoid enough of them. And if this does hit the mat, I find Pantoja to be the better grappler. Moreno may be a better wrestler, but the grappling advantage will definitely go to Pantoja. So I like Pantoja. I do think that it probably goes 25 minutes. I think it does go to a decision. It'll be close. If there is a finish, it's likely in the championship rounds. But yeah, both of us going with the dog. I like it. So next up, we have the big fight between Volkanovski and Rodriguez. And I don't know where you're at, but I will not stray from my boy. I didn't do it for the Makachev fight. I ain't doing it now. People, so the dumb thing I see a lot of people saying about Rodriguez is that he throws more than Volkanovski. No, he doesn't. Volkanovski averages 6 strikes, 6 significant strikes a minute. Where where does you? I don't know. It blows my mind. I think people already forgot the Volkanovski Holloway fight where he literally is like the only person to outstrike Holloway, and he did by almost 80 strikes. So I don't know where people are getting that. And people always bring up, oh well, Rodriguez has the reach. Everybody has the reach on him. That it doesn't make a damn difference. The size, whatever. So Volkanovski wins. He keeps his belt. It's done and over with.
Did I do it?
Go with what you want.
No, I think Volk's gonna whoop his ass, bro. Come on now, stop.
As do I.
Like, I know somebody said if you look at both the title fights, if there was a fight, if you were trying to stack, I would say this one. So Yair, even if Yair is, let's say, getting dominated on strikes or getting mixed in with takedowns, Yair is still going to throw punches wherever the hell he's at. So it's going to add up for him. So if I know some people said that in cash, they might stack the main. It's not a bad fight to do it, but I think Volk is going to do what the hell he wants. Yes, it is just I think when it comes to pure danger, if you look at Volk's past opponents, Yair is dangerous as shit.
Hmm.
Could does he float? Is he gonna throw maybe hit somebody with Volk with some flaky shit? Maybe, but I think Volk's gonna be too strong for him. I think that is he. I think honestly he wants that Islam fight so bad again, and I think if he dominates this fight, I think the two fights that come up either Sterling does eventually come up to 45 and him and Sterling have a fight, or he's thinking, okay, I want Islam. And maybe with dominant performance, who knows? Maybe he calls out Islam again. And then we look for another fight around like middle of 2024. But yeah, I think Volk's gonna have it everywhere in this fight.
Well, just a small thing to add.
Okay.
You had mentioned it before um, when we were talking. So you had brought up the whole grappling thing and Volk potentially getting submitted. One, I brought up T City, Brian Ortega. He couldn't submit him.
No.
But then even more impressive is that Islam couldn't submit him. So if anybody's thinking that Rodriguez is going to come out and submit Volkanovski, you're kidding yourself. Um, this should be another win for Volk. He should retain his belt. And how crazy would it be if he said, "I'm done after this"?
I'd low key be upset about it.
Oh, I would too.
Because I
I'd
want
be
to see him
super upset.
I want to see him go against Islam again. And then let's say if he does win, maybe have another fight or two at 55, but I'd be
Because
so upset.
think about it. Who's left? Is he gonna have another fight with Holloway?
No,
Is
I
he
don't
gonna
want
have a
that.
fight with Arnold?
No, Arnold, that's the only other new blood.
Because you got Holloway and well Holloway. So Arnold just lost. He got his ass kicked.
Yep.
Holloway and TKZ are gonna fight soon, but Holloway's gonna smash him. So the only fight left is Volkanovski versus Holloway again, and more than likely it's gonna be the same damn thing.
Yep.
So Volkanovski, I mean, I think he would move up a division, and I don't think he has any issue with it. It's just when's enough going to be enough for him.
Yep.
Both of us going with Volkanovski. I like it. That wraps up this card. I kind of already gave my hot take during the show, so
Dang.
there's a
Okay.
few of them.
I have a hot take. In mine, I usually try to do hot takes that who I pick for underdogs. Get a nice little more juicy value. Ha ha ha.
Strike by
I'm
knockout.
going, huh?
Strike by knockout. That's mine.
Hey, I want to see what those odds could be, but I'm going Terrence Mitchell. Like I
Dirty.
said, I know, like I said, Cameron Samon, he's the young kid, but he really hasn't really fought nobody. But only thing I don't like about him, like I said, his chin leaves up, his hands go down, he's hittable, he bleeds, he is wild. Mitchell does have experience, but I'm going Mitchell by finish.
Bad. It happened.
At 6,800 on DraftKings.
I did want to play him in one of DraftKings, so I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mad about him. So that wraps up that. Um, if I was going to lock anybody, I'm just going to say I'm going to lock in Volkanovski, and that's that.
Yeah, I'd probably say Volk, and then there's two other ones. I think, like I said, I think Bo Nickel is at least going to get himself over 100 points. Now there's no
Likely.
Jack. I think you can easily go both Volk and Bo Nickel, and the rest of your line should still be fine. So
Definitely. So that wraps up this one. Next week, so we go from this really amazing card UFC 290 to another fight night next week. And not that I have anything against female fights, there's a lot of them that I really love, and I advocate for them all the time. The fight next week is the main card fight is Holly Holm and Myra Bueno Silva. Not really looking forward to it. Holm is fine. She deserves it, whatever. But I just hate all of her fights because I hate watching her go in circles.
mm-hmm.
The rest of the card kind of just looks like shit. Well, Terrence McKinney's on the card. That might be the only saving grace, but
Well, if he found his chin back from after when Bonfim needed off,
no kidding. But
sometimes you
otherwise,
don't. Sometimes you don't come back from that.
there's like nothing on this card that really says, "Oh, damn."
I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't
So
even
next
seen that
week,
card yet. So
next week is not going to be a very fun card. I'm going to leave it at that. But got anything else for this one?
um, let's hope for no more dropouts.
Yeah, no kidding.
Um, let's hope for no bullshit draws. Hopefully, we have proper judges that know how to judge a fight. For the love of God, I know that's a lot, but
Not if Sal's another judge again. But all righty. Well, as always, thanks for watching. We will catch you next week and go Dracus.